everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and you like to see, consider hitting that subscribe button and ring that bell notification because we've been uploading videos on a near daily basis. I don't know how long that will last, but hey, as long as we are in the house, videos could go up whenever they want and you will want to be notified of when they go up. And also, if you think you're a subscriber, double check to make sure you are, because I hear YouTube's been secretly unsubscribing people, so you might want to check to make sure you're still on board. But anyway, before we talk about the main topic today, which is Amazon, and boy, they were doing so well until today, I do want to make a little announcement, a little thank you. I mean, this is a tough time. This is an extremely tough time for a lot of people right now. And if there was ever a time for people to drop their Patreon and YouTube membership support, I would totally understand that this would be the time to do it. And yet, virtually no one has actually canceled support of my channel, and I am greatly appreciative of that. And as a thank you to that, I decided, you know what, now I need to make good on a promise to have at least one exclusive video to my patrons and YouTube members a week. And we have actually uploaded that first video a couple days ago. That's only available for YouTube members. It's a video of me and Katie going to our first drive-in movie. It's a vlog style thing. It's definitely, unlike what's mostly on this channel, a fun, upbeat, just kind of silly video. And it's only available, at least for the first couple months, to YouTube and Patreon members. So if you want to see and we are going to be posting more videos like this once a week, so if you want to see more videos like this, you can become a Patreon or YouTube member. If not, hey, I totally understand it is a tough time, but for those of you who are continuing to support us, we are very, very thankful. We wanted to definitely go above and beyond and help, give you guys something worth your money. We want to give you some content that no one else can watch. And so, yeah, that little side hustle aside, thank you so much for your continued support. And thank you for, even if you don't contribute financially in the terms of you're giving me money, thank you for watching the videos and commenting below and liking them. That actually does so much. You would be surprised how much good that does. And I've seen that increase. So thank you so much for doing that. So anyway, let's talk about the main story. Now, a few days ago, I was talking about this Amazon strike, how the Amazon workers were, getting nervous because guess what? Warehouses were being infected with cases and they weren't doing any testing. And here's the thing, I was actually fairly nice about Amazon. It's very rare that I'm nice about Amazon, but I was like, I think Amazon's been doing like a pretty good job of handling this crisis. I think they've been doing a good job for the most part. They were pretty transparent to people that, hey, non-essential items are probably going to be put on the back burner. We're not going to be taking new items in that aren't non-essential from third-party sellers. We are going to pay our workers more money. We're going to hire 100,000 more people. We're going to provide cleaning supplies. Granted, they might be on back burner because of the medical teams that need them. But, I thought they were doing, for the most part, a pretty good job of keeping their employees in the loop and doing things right by them. Well, things got sour pretty quickly in the last couple days because there was a strike, as you know, and that's why we were talking about it. And because I acknowledged that, hey, guess what? If you're doing a strike, I mean, you're in the front lines. I totally understand why you do that. Well, the person who organized the strike has been fired by Amazon, which, as they say, not a good look, Amazon. Not a good look. So, an Amazon worker who had led a walkout at a New York City facility on Monday, which was JFK 8, if I remember, has been fired. Chris Smalls, an assistant manager, so this wasn't even like a low level, Amazonian. This was like an assistant manager, learned of his termination as dozens of workers protested against the company's response to what's currently going on in the media. Quote, "It's a shame on them to fire someone after 5 years for sticking up for people and trying to give them a voice." Strikers at the JFK 8 warehouse in Staten Island demanded Amazon temporarily shut down the large facility for cleaning after reports of multiple employees testing positive for this virus. So the workers also demanded more protective gear and hazard pay as the as they worked through the pandemic. Now, I will state, again, in Amazon's defense, they were apparently going to be paying Amazonians more money. Now, whether or not that was enough, that's totally up for the workers to decide. But what really set off was that 2 workers tested positive for the virus at JFK 8 and were quarantined, but people still had to go to work. Like that was where I definitely disagreed with Amazon on. Like, if you have a worker that comes in with a virus, you've got to quarantine that warehouse for a couple weeks. You pay your employees, especially since they're Amazon and you can afford to do that, and send them home. So Amazon had started doing this good, but now, of course, the more that you look at this, the more it's you become a problem. Like firing the guy who just wants protective gear and better pay during what is increasingly becoming a stressful time for a lot of people. Like a lot of people. That is not an unreasonable demand. And you know what? That's the kind of person you talk to. And what did Amazon think was going to happen when they fired this person? Did they think that it was just going to go away? No, of course he's going to go. He's going to go to the media. In fact, I wonder if there's a way to contact him. I would love to have him on the channel and talk about his experience. But and here's and he had some interesting things. Now here's Amazon's response. Amazon's response is, of course, really bad, because in a statement, Amazon alleged that Smalls, quote, had close contact with a diagnosed associate, but did not comply when asked to remain home with pay for 14 days. Now, that's their excuse. Really, Amazon? Really? I mean, if this is in that crazy little world of yours, hey, if someone comes in with a virus, and then that's why you close the warehouse altogether. Because theoretically, this guy could have been in contact with anyone. So you send everyone home with sick pay for 14 days. And then the statement continued, despite that instruction to stay home with pay, he came on site today, 30th March, further putting the teams at risk. Well, leaving the warehouse open puts everyone at risk too. That doesn't seem to bother you at the moment. This is unacceptable. And we have terminated his employment as a result of multiple safety issues. The warehouse is open. It's open. That is multiple safety issues right there. After someone has come in, you keep it open. No. So, anyway, Smalls says Amazon did not send him home until the 28th of March, 3 weeks after the exposure. Oh, wow. So, quote, no one else was put on quarantine. He said, even as the infected person worked alongside associates for 10 plus hours a week. You put me on quarantine for coming into contact with somebody, but I was around that person for less than 5 minutes. Granted, that's all it takes. It doesn't take very long to catch it. Unfortunately, this is a highly contagious, extremely catchable disease. But still, I mean, this is ridiculous. So, according to Amazon, no one else was fired. So really, this person who was infected was only in contact with this one person the entire time that he had the virus, and it just happens to be the person who demanded better pay and protective gear. No, that doesn't. Smalls says he was considering legal action, calling it a no-brainer. Oh yeah, no, it's a no-brainer. Sue them. Sue them. He says anyone can see it's a direct target. Of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, in my opinion, whatever that's worth, you were directly targeted. Use it as evidence. Like, maybe get like 100 YouTube videos of people who think that this is direct. I don't know. Whatever. You do what you do, but I think you've got a case. So, the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, called Amazon's actions disgraceful. It's like, I'm considering all legal options and calling on the National Labor Relations Board to investigate. Yeah, they're going to get killed over this. They are going to get killed over this. I mean, look, we've already got politicians and like Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders basically criticizing them. Like, here's what Representative Ilhan Omar and Senator Bernie Sanders on Friday led a letter to Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, raising concerns that the world's richest man is putting his employees' quote lives at risk by failing to take adequate safety precautions and provide workers with necessary protective equipment in the midst of this pandemic. So here's a little quote from the letter. Quotes from the letter says, workers at Amazon warehouses worldwide continue to raise concerns that their employer is not doing enough to protect them from exposure to the virus. Amazon's reaction to the situation has left me shocked, scared, and disgusted, said an employee. So, and here's the thing. Here's the thing, and this is the full here's the full letter from Representative Ilhan Omar, who I do agree with in this particular situation. Look, I think we're going to have to I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Look, people are being put at risk. I initially praise Amazon's efforts, but it's pretty clear that they're not taking this as seriously because, hey, they've got a business to run, and it's one of those things like this is their time to shine. The stores are closed. So, of course, Amazon is getting a boost that they never have before. But here's the thing. They can't contain this because, look, even their Whole Food workers are demanding double payment, and they have planned a sick out, which is their way of doing a strike. So some Whole Food employees are demanding double hazard pay because of the pandemic, with a so-called sick out planned for Tuesday. That is today as this video is going up. On March 31st, do not go to work. A group called Whole Worker. I'm sorry, folks. Let me You gotta love websites that play the ads, right? Anyway, has temporarily relaxed. Whole Foods has temporarily relaxed its strict attendance policy, which means that team members can participate in this act of protest without fear of reprisal. You know, on a funny little side note, not that I'm gonna say who I'm doing business with, but the company that I'm doing business with that might not be doing business with a whole lot longer at this point, who are refusing to take adequate safety measures, they have right now a sick out as well with a lot of their employees. So it's actually a very effective way to protest. So Whole Foods pandemic response includes unlimited call-outs for workers who are unable or unwilling to work, plus an additional $2 per hour on top of hourly based pay. I agree, that should be double. That should be double. So look, the wholesale food employees, they're getting in on this too. And Stephen Iwai says, if Whole Foods provides these things for their employees, I pledge to only buy groceries from Whole Foods. I currently almost never do unless other providers match them. That was an employer, and yeah. So they're getting, and then you have someone who's not important also talking about this thing. So yeah, and businesses should actually be paying attention to this. This article from Inc.com kind of highlights this whole thing, and of course this will all be available for you to read at the bottom, but they end with this, and I think it's pretty easy to understand why this is important. It might be easy to overlook warehouse workers and delivery carriers as not being on the front lines. However, they are literally the people who are keeping our pantry stocked in many cases. Regardless of the work your team is doing, you still owe it to them to be upfront and honest about their safety so they can make the best decisions. In fact, it's quite simple. Your team should expect nothing less from you than transparency about how this virus is impacting your business and the resources and tools they need to safely do their job. That's true whether they're delivering groceries to your customers' front doors or working at home trying to keep things moving forward. Even at a time as uncertain as this, that's the least your team should be able to count on right now. Now then, one of the things I believe that this little pandemic is going to do in the long run, and this even relates to gig workers like Uber and Lyft drivers as well, but we're talking about Amazon right now, is it's going to really fundamentally change how we pay people who work at grocery stores and essential businesses, because this is highlighting a very unique situation. Many businesses are closed because they're non-essential. We need to stop the spread of this virus, and granted, it's still spiking and spreading like crazy, but the thing is, if we do something, we could keep it from being a whole lot less worse than it is now. But a lot of businesses close as a result of that. Restaurants have to be takeout only. But here's the thing. Essential businesses, these are the people who have to go to work. They can't stay home really. They have to go to work and they have to be out there. They are putting their lives at risk every day, and yet they make a heck of a lot less money than a lot of these businesses who closed because they're not essential. And I think people are starting to realize this is actually kind of ridiculous. Like, how many of our essential businesses are minimum wage jobs? Like, they're minimum wage jobs, and the minimum wage jobs are the ones that should be the ones that are allowed to go home because they're not making much money. They do not get paid enough to put their lives at risk like this. But their job is essential for everyone else, so they have to go to work. Meanwhile, a lot of people who work in offices, guess what? Their job isn't necessarily essential, and they're making like 6 figures a year. But guess what? They can go and work from home. Like, look, I know that it's not that simple. I do know that being an accountant takes a lot more skill, usually a lot more education, than someone bagging the food at the grocery store. I acknowledge that, and that's why it gets tricky. But the thing is, the grocery store people, the Uber drivers, the Instacart shoppers, all these people, these have become the heroes of people's everyday lives. And they are getting paid really nothing to risk. If they catch the virus, then what they're paid is not going to cover the medical expenses. And I don't think the companies are going to cover those either. So we're going to come out of this reevaluating, the type of work people do and what they get paid. At least I think we will. Because I suspect people are going to remember this. We're obviously going to remember this, and it's like the next time someone applies for like a minimum wage job that they knows will have to stay open if there's like a huge pandemic, they might not be willing to do it for what they're getting paid anymore. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when this is all said and done. However, that's where I'm going to leave this particular video, this particular story. I'm sure we will have more to talk about it. Chris Smalls, if you happen to see this, please contact me. I would love to have you on this channel and talk to you. Anyway, but that's where we're gonna stop right here. What says you? Do you agree with Chris Smalls? Do you agree with Amazon? Do you side with the Whole Foods workers? Do you think they should get paid more? I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.